I like to do. I don't know about you. I like to do the bottom head pretty tight. Um, and the reason for that is because so you get the more response out of your snares. Uh, the more those have a chance to vibrate, I feel like the more life you're going to get out of it. And that I think that'll also depend on the amount of snares you have on the drum itself. Uh, I like to run the real wide ones, like the 30 strands. I like to run these guys, um, just because I keep that bottom head tuned up pretty high. Um, and then that gives you the range in the top head to where you can run it lower, but still get all the response out of the bottom head, and you can run it higher and still get all the response, and anywhere in between there. With this drum in particular, let's flip it over and see what the bottom sounds like. Easy way to do that. Kick off the snares here, throw your stick underneath here to get that out of the way. Yeah, it's about where I would run it to. Maybe even a little higher. I'm just doing a, not even like just under a quarter turn. It's a tiny bit higher than it was. And that should, in turn, maybe get a little bit more crack out of it. Okay. Like a little bit more life out of the bottom head there. And you can get the buzzing all the way out to the edges, even with a moongel on there. Like you can get the response all the way out here. Some heads like that one, you can still probably do it because the top head's pretty low, but like that's what I want out of the bottom head is being able to hear it playing the top, like the very edge of the top head, because that means it'll just get louder and more responsive as you get towards the center, and as you're racking rim shots like that, you'll hear all of it. But yeah, and then as far as tuning the top head, like I said, for me it depends on what we're playing, and I guess kind of what the tuning is if we're getting that specific about stuff. If I'm just going for total volume, I'll probably do one of two things. I'll keep it in the mid range, keep this top head nice and high, and just I'll play the hell out of it, or crank it up a tiny bit to cut through the guitars and just make sure I'm playing loud enough to keep that. I've had multiple sound guys tell me they don't put my snare drum in the house because I play that loud. So let's bring this guy down a little bit. See if we can get like a thick beefy. Yeah, I think beefy's a good term for it. I don't think we'll need to do much, to be honest. And on a 10 lug snare drum, I'm sure you can do this the same on any other drum. I like to go start bottom right, go across, to the right, across, to the right, across. Just kind of evenly do it that way so you end up back where you started. I've seen guys do where they'll start here, they'll jump across, and then they'll jump here, and then they'll jump here, and then they'll jump. And like if they do it that way, which sure, if you can keep track of that, I can't. We've been talking for a second here, and I know exactly where I need to go already. I like to try and set stuff up for like future me, to where like if I have to set something down, I know coming back, no context, I can. All right, cool. That's where I'm at. Let's see. I don't know if you've noticed. I've noticed that in order, like if you hear the two tones are different there, I've always found that sometimes if you can't get the tone you want to come out of these ones, you do the ones next to it. Possibly the head's not seated, or this is like maybe the bead's misshapen under there or something, or the bearing edge, just a tiny bit, and getting the tension from a different spot might help you.
And you're pressing on the center a little bit?
Just barely, just like lightly keeping it on there, like you would do like a harmonic on a guitar, just very very lightly, just to instead of hearing that, makes it a little bit easier to keep a hold of what you're hearing. And then playing right around the edge too, because the closer you play to the center, the more dead the drum will be. That's where most of the ringing comes from too. If you ever use moongels, out towards the edge will take away the ringing, but not kill the drum entirely, the closer you put it towards the center, it kills it a little bit better. You can also use them on cymbals. When they're brand new, they'll stick to cymbals. It's great. Video shoots, maybe a little bit cheaper than or easier than gaffing up the underside of your cymbals. When in doubt, tune the problem up. Nah, it's clearly there's no science here. At least for me. I'm sure there are people that have a much more strategic and like rigid method of doing this. I go by ear and get it to a point where I either don't want to deal with it anymore and just slap a moon gel on it and then just play loud enough to where there's not ugly overtones, or you spend hours on it. Let's see what this sounds like with the snares on now. It's not too bad actually. And that's no moon gel. A little bit more beef to it. Throw the moon gel to get rid of that ring. You get a little bit of it. Move it in a tiny bit more right above the logo. There you go. It's dead. It sounds big. Like you could actually feel it too. And we did, like, I didn't take it down that far from where it was. It just sounds like a bigger drum now. Like that's pretty, I would say a pretty stark difference, but you're still in the same ballpark. It's still high tuned. Just has a little bit more life to it.